stand up and open to our next song, which is Even on a Bad Day, You're a Child of God. We haven't done this in a while, but it's fun, so just enjoy it.
Talk today, yeah.
Oh, and it goes with the talk. Of course it does. It's always divine intervention. So we're going to go ahead and start. You panic because you're overslept, you rush to your chores. You race out of the house and slam your thumb in the door. Then you pull into traffic just a little too slow. The pile leaves your crumpled car in need of a tow. You hitch your ride to work and find you just lost your job. Remember, even on a bad day, you're a child of God. Oh, even on a bad day, 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 you're a child of God. Next verse. You go to dinner with some folks you hope to impress. You cut your hair, you buff your nails, you dress for success. The ritzy place in town is where they take you to eat. But somehow you've forgotten that the dinner's the street. They don't order caviar, you can't afford cod. Remember, even on a bad day, you're a child of God. Oh, even on a bad day, 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 you're a child of God. Next person, we're a child of God. Your allergies are acting up, you cough and you sneeze. The neighbors treat you like they think you have some disease. Except for that one person who has stolen your heart, who shows up at your door holding a nice yellow card, and then hands you a broken your fresh golden rod. Remember, even on a bad day, you're a child of God. Oh, even on a bad day, 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 we're a child of God. In that sophisticated world, you always feel like a clock. Remember, even on a bad day, you're a child of God. There's races to be won, but all you ever look to applaud. Remember, even on a bad day, you're a child of God. When everyone who's normal thinks that you're pretty odd. Remember, even on a bad day, you're a child of God. Oh, even on a bad day, 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 I'm a child of God. Pretty good. But just remember, I'm a child of God, even on those worst days.
Right? Yes.
All right.
Will David bring the prayer books forward, please?
Just a reminder that everybody is invited to deposit a prayer request in a box or leave one in the collection plate. And we leave the prayer requests in the box for about a month, and about every month we'll send them to Unity headquarters in Missouri, where they are prayed over for another 30 days. And know that when these prayers are put in the box, because of faith, they are already answered.
And now Paul will share the daily word with us.
Okay, the thing for today's daily word is giving. The giving I open to my highest purpose. Prayer of St. Francis tells us, for it is in giving that we receive. The simple act of sharing with someone opens my heart, creating an awareness of the energetic link between that person and myself. Every living thing is connected through the all that is spirit. The carbon dioxide the plants need to survive is created in me, while the oxygen I need to breathe comes from the plants. Today I look around and allow myself to see all the ways I'm contributing to the world and to realize all the world gives back to me in exchange. In giving, I take part in the divine flow of life. The more I give, the more my life receives, and the more expansively I express my divinity. A gift opens all doors. It gives access to the great. Proverbs 18:16.
Thank you, Paul. And now, let's have a Lord's Prayer. Our Father,
Who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
So continue to breathe and open. Remember, as we go within, we are also in that process of opening. Opening our awareness of our divinity. We are always divine. All people are always divine. However, we don't know it. So much of the time we don't know it. So in these moments, just open to that awareness. Follow your breath. Just follow your breath. And know those words that we just sang with great energy. I am a child of God. Feel those words. I am a child. Allow your consciousness to reach out and you, how far those yous go. You are a child. You are children of the divine. Breathe into that awareness of agape, of divine love. Reach out to all of those that you may be fearful of. Breathe love. Breathe love. They are all children of the divine. All those that you disagree with in any way. Let us each step back and allow these children of God to express their understanding. Wherever there is illness, let's expand our awareness of divine wholeness. Breathe into that divine wholeness. With that awareness of divine wholeness, let us move deeper into our own center. That is also the center of all. And be for some moments in the silence with the allness, with the wholeness. And bring yourself back to the edge of that silence. allow this voice of the child that we just heard to say, can we become that child? Can we become that trust in that divine heavenly resource that we have? In this moment, can we be the child? Can we reach out in love as the child? Can we reach out in joy as the child? Smile. Feel that child energy within you. Smile. Feel the change within you as you smile. Feel that energy coming up in and through you. To be a child, all we need to do is remember to smile. And we say, thank you, God, that we are the child. We are that connection. We are that divine energy. And we say, thank you, and so it is. Amen. Smile. 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 I mean, can you feel that energy? I do this sometimes. I'll just sit and just allow the corners of my mouth to turn up. And if you're careful, if you're quiet, there is something, and they prove this, there is really something that shifts within you when those smile muscles are activated. And they don't have to be, the full smile. It's just, turn up the corners of your mouth and see what happens. Because it's your choice now. It's heaven or hell. You get to choose. Heaven or hell. You get to choose. So I want to begin with this little poem. Why do people keep asking to see God's identity papers? What's that mean? God's identity papers. Yeah, God, prove it to me now. Where are you? When the darkness opening into morning is more than enough. Certainly, any God might turn away in disgust. Think of Sheba approaching the kingdom of Solomon. Do you think she had to ask, is this the place? So we think about that. What is out there? And we just heard a description of the most amazing sunset a few days ago. And other people probably saw that also. Do we need anything else to show God's identity papers? This whole creative process. So I was at a lunch here at the beginning of summer, and some friends of mine were kind of laughing and smiling as they were telling about their trip to Jerusalem a few years ago. And I don't know how we got onto the subject before they started in, but we had somehow been talking about hell and what hell is. And so they were, about 3 of them had all been on this journey together. And they said, well, when we were in Jerusalem, our hotel room looked over Gehenna. Now, anybody who's a Bible student knows that Gehenna is the name that Jesus used for hell. And why did he use that, and what did that mean? Well, Gehenna, back in the day, it's a small valley kind of just outside the walls of the old city, and it was the dump. And like dumps even today, particularly not so much in the U.S., but in other countries, there's a lot of people that hang around the dumps and they go sifting through all that garbage. And think about how hellish that is. This is what you need to live. And back in those days, people who had leprosy and other visible illnesses, they were cast out. So the idea that he used this as a metaphor for a hellish experience, and yet these ministers looked at, it was not a permanent situation. Gehenna is now this lovely valley outside the old city walls. And to have these ministers share that, it's also an awareness that there are many, many ministers within the traditional that are letting go of that sense that hell is a place that you go to after you're gone from this place. So if hell is not a place we go to, what is it? What is it? So one of the things that had been coming across Facebook, a friend of mine, the husband actually of the senior minister when I was at Gulf Breeze, is really into taking photography. And They live on the 12th floor, the top floor of a condo on the beach, down on Pensacola Beach. And so when there's weather out there, he's got an amazing view. So last week he was sending photographs of thunderstorms. So here's this black cloud and the lights flashing through it, and then there was still some sun, so there was some red underneath. It was just absolutely amazing and awesome, full of awe. However, you know, you stand back and you look at that and you think, oh, this is wonderful. But what if you were in the middle of that storm? What if you were out there on the water in that storm? You know, you get to choose where you are, how you see something. You know, is it heaven or is it hell? And it certainly can be where you are in that perspective of place on that. But even at that, once I step back, we can be in hellish situations, and it's so overwhelming that there is no way to get out of it in that moment. However, we can step back and then begin to accept whatever blessings can come from that. You know, so a friend of mine that went through a very severe illness several years ago. So she's in the middle of this illness, but what is coming that she never expected was all the support and all the help that came. So this huge blessing that she didn't even know was there. She didn't even know to ask for. It came pouring in. So yes, she had to go through whatever the illness process was, but she also had the awareness of that heavenly presence that was surrounding her. So what do you see when you look into your inner world? You know, what are those lightning storms? And we all have them. We all have them. You know, do we step back and we go, wow, whew, didn't know I could be that angry. Wow, I didn't know I had that kind of emotion in me. Wow, can I begin to perceive this in a different way? Or do we get trapped? Yeah, see, here's somebody who's making the most out of what, you know, it's no accident trap. No accident. Jesus said, become as a child. Because there's all these, okay, rules. You're in church, you're supposed to be this, you're supposed to be that. She doesn't know anything about that. She doesn't know anything about that. That's not impinging on her awareness in any way, shape, or form. Can we begin to live in the kind of heaven that a child allows themselves to? And when they get upset, when they get angry, there's that thunderstorm. Do they hang on to that thunderstorm? Do they hang on to it? Or they go, oh, well, let that one go. So when we're in that place of hell, we're hanging on to the thunderstorms. We're remembering, oh, you know, yesterday I was really mad and upset. So I'm still back in that place. Yesterday when I was, or even 5 minutes ago, I was upset 5 minutes ago. Oh, okay. Let me move on. Let me do what else is going on. Let me let go of the hellishness. So one of my authors, C.S. Lewis. So how many of you know C.S. Lewis as a author? So my favorite books are the things like Screw Tape Letters and Narnia, and you know, and he's got one that's called The Great Divorce. He's very clear in the introduction that he has no amazing insight into what the afterlife is like. However, you know, he's coming from his understanding of human beings and what this must be like. So he starts off, and people are in a bus. They're in a bus and they're driving through this just really gray landscape, kind of misty. You can't see much out there. You can see there's some buildings and you know, it's very depressing. Very depressing. So they come to a really bright space, a bright light. They have an opportunity. There's people dressed in beautiful clothes, kind of very spirits, looking like what you might, whoever you think an angel looks like, standing there looking and inviting them to come off the bus, inviting them, you can come off this bus, get out of this purgatory here. And as people just, you know, start to get off the bus, oh, but you have to leave those old habits behind. You have to leave that anger behind. You have to leave all of these things that you think that you have to have, whether it's your intelligence, your degrees, your importance. You have to leave it behind. And how interesting the idea. So it's through the book, when people are willing to leave something behind and when they're willing not to, no, can't do that. Yes, I can see this light out here, but no, I can't let go of my importance. Because when you get off the bus, you know, you're the same as everybody else. And when you get off the bus, here's all of these people who have been there for a while and they've done lots and lots of work. However, there are things you're going to have to do. There's a mountain you're going to have to climb. There are people there to support you, but you're going to have to climb the mountain. Ooh, am I willing to do that? So I went through and chose a few quotes from this. All that are in hell, choose it. Now think about that. All that are in hell, choose it. Without that self-choice, there could be no hell. No soul that seriously and constantly desires joy will ever miss it. Those who seek find, those who knock find it open. Hell is a state of mind. Now, that's a very unity. He was Church of England, Episcopal, here on this side of the big pond, but hell is a state of mind. And every state of mind left to itself, every shutting up of the creature within the dungeon of its own mind is in the end in hell. Now think about it. Our own mind. Nothing outside of our mind can keep us in hell. But he goes on to say, but heaven is not a state of mind. Heaven is reality itself. All that is fully real is heavenly. For all that can be shaken will be shaken, and only the unshakable remains. So this divine oneness. Heaven is real. Now here's one you can take a deep breath and say, there are two kinds of people. Those who say to God, to the divine mind, to that oneness, thy will be done. And those to whom God says, all right then, have it your way. And how many of us have been in that place where it's my way or the highway, God, and God says, okay, have it your way. One traveler who is on the bus and is going to get off and is willing to leave behind and kind of looks around and sees that where they have come from, kind of looking down through like a crack in the pavement, in the support there, and here's this, you can see this whole gray city down in this crack, and he says, do you mean that hell, all that infinite empty town? So remember, they've been driving through this gray for whoever knows how long. All that infinite empty town is down in some little crack like this? Yes, all hell is smaller than one pebble of your earthly world. It is smaller than one atom of this world, the real world. Look at that butterfly. If it swallowed hell, hell would not be big enough to do it any harm or to even have any taste. So how do we do this? How do we think about this? So I thought, okay, I've been going over to my neighbor's garden. And let me tell you, those that don't come to Sunday school don't get tomatoes from my neighbor's garden. They're all gone away. So I thought, okay, here's heaven or hell in my neighbor's garden. It's 7 a.m. and I have to go pick tomatoes now or it'll be too hot. It's 7 a.m. and it's so nice and cool. I will go pick tomatoes now before it gets hot. None of these tomatoes are really ripe. Oh, look, these big ones are almost ripe. I will pick them and put them out on the deck where they will ripen and the birds and the squirrels won't get to them. Oh no, the corn has been ripped up. Wow, who knew when I came the other day that my neighbor was going to give me a whole bag full of the last harvest from his corn. Now think about that. Both of those, very true. All three of those I could have very easily said. In fact, when I saw that the corn was gone, I was going, ah! Well, I got the last of it. Thank you to my neighbor, who is also the embodiment of God. So heaven or hell is in our choice of words. Because think about when I say a word, how does that feel within me? Now think about, I have to do it, I should do it, I need to do it. How about I am choosing to do it? All those words, I am choosing. I am choosing. So if I'm doing things from choice, no matter the underlying reason, there's a whole different energy. I'm taking power in. So I'm choosing to pay these bills. I'm choosing to go to work this morning. I'm choosing to turn the news off. I am choosing. Not, oh, you know, they said in class, you know, this news got all this bad news. I ought to, I should, you know, do it. No, I am choosing to do that. And, you know, some of you may think, well, you know, there's times when I don't have a choice. You absolutely have a choice. The choice on the other side may be illness, it may be getting fired, it may be a lot of things that you really don't want to have, but you could choose it. You could choose. So again, you bring that power in. I'm choosing to go to work because I choose to have this job at this moment. You know? I'm choosing to take whatever medication the doctor has prescribed for me because, you know, when I don't take it, you know, it's not, I'm not in a good place. So I am choosing. I am choosing. Now it gets really interesting. So somebody wants you to do something that you don't want to do. Can you say to them, well, I'm choosing not to do that today? Some of it is your tone of voice. Some of it is, how do I put this? And you're all going to have to think about it, because I have to think about it. But I have learned, do not put out a negative excuse. I can't do that. My husband won't let me. Oh, I don't feel as good as I could, you know. Think about, can I choose my words when I start to choose the activities that I really want to do? So here's another one that fits with prosperity. So, you know, when you're having a prosperity challenge, somebody gave me this trick here a while back, and think about it, this has to do with choose. So take the biggest kind of a bill that you can, and if you're fortunate enough to be able to have a $100 bill, take a $100 bill and you put it in your wallet. And when you're out and about and you see things that you want, you can look at that and say, and this is, the energy behind this is the truth of it. I have the money. I could buy that now if I wanted to. However, I'm choosing not to use my money that way today. I'm choosing not to do it. And that is, it's building that truth energy. Yes, here's the money. It's right here. My mind isn't playing games with me. The money is right here. However, my choice is to do something different, to leave it in there. And try that process. So that power of choice. I can choose to do that. And the other thing is, I'm choosing not to buy it in the moment. I'm not buying it yet. So that part of you goes, no, it's here if I don't have it. You know, it says, in the moment, yet. The door is open, the door is not slammed shut. So you're affirming you have the money, you are affirming your priorities. And how much heaven or hell is in our habits? Never thought about that? And I didn't bring it with me. I've got got this wonderful book by Gretchen Rubin that's all about habits. And what she did was not look at, okay, now here's your goals and you set this and you do this. She went in and did a lot of research with people. So why do people not change their habits? Why is it so difficult? Why do people make some choices and they don't follow through on them? You know, the beginning of the year, you know, here's my resolutions for the year. And how long do they last? Probably not till the next day, you know? So she got looking at that, and so I brought some of what she calls personalities. So we each have these personalities, you know, some combination of them, but mostly one of them is our major personality. So think about this as I read the description. So there's the upholder personality. The upholder meets both outer expectations of others and their personal expectations. This doesn't mean that changing habits is easy, but it is easier for them than for most others. However, they will also follow rules simply because they are there. You know anybody like that? Think about that process. The questioner. The questioner resists outer expectations, meets personal inner expectations. The questioner is often willing to meet outer expectations if he or she feels the reason or the meaning is good enough. They ask questions to figure this out for themselves. And I think I must have some of this in me because I have to understand things. I had somebody spend many years ago now at work, and I'm just continuing to ask questions. I'm trying to understand this. She finally said, "Carol, you don't have to understand it." The obliger. The obliger meets outer expectations, resists their own inner expectations. So I'm going to do, you ask me to do something, I'm going to do it, but if I have some goals in here, This person does well with timelines and goals and include other people. In other words, making themselves accountable. Trying to create a new habit on their own usually doesn't work. So, but since I'm an obliger, and if you and I have decided we're going to go walking every morning, to oblige you to follow through on that, I will do it. But if I just try and say, I'm going to go walking every morning, chances are that's not going to happen. Now here's one, and I only know one of these in my life. However, I got really emotional this morning just thinking about it. It's the rebel. Resists both outer and inner expectations. Whatever, you know, well, I was going to do it, but then you asked me to do it, so now I'm not going to do it. So, you know, think about your personalities and how you have it in here and how you decide to do things. Am I somebody who follows the rules simply because they're there? That person that sits at the red light in the middle of the night and there's nobody around till the light changes, you know, just because that's the law? Am I a person who really does pretty good, but I'm not gonna do it just because you think I should, but I will. I'll go along with it if it makes sense to me. You know, are you the person? And I think obligers, we see that a lot. We can see that a lot sometimes in spiritual communities. You know, I'll do anything that you ask me to do, but then sometimes I get very overwhelmed because I'm not giving myself permission to take care of my own needs on there. So I'm going to highly recommend the book. I'm going to try and remember to bring it with me next week. There's another one that she wrote that doesn't focus on habits, but really fits in with this. It's called The Happiness Project. And she goes through a year, and a lot of it is looking at things that I do it because I've always done it, you know, and to make some decisions and how I'm going to shift and change. So if I'm doing things because I've always done it, or because my mother said I had to, or these kinds of things, when we're in that place, we're in that place of hell, or at least purgatory, you know? It's not comfortable. I want to get out. And depending on how much we're taking away from ourselves, it can be very, very hellish in that place. So I get to choose. And I want to close this by reminding us that a lot of times when we get thinking about choices and habits and things like that, we get it all caught up in our own personal personality, our ego personality, and we go, well, it doesn't matter, this is who I am. However, we have help. We have that divine essence within us. And so I want to read the first few verses of Psalms 139. This is written by King David. And you know, King David, he was a pretty important guy. He did some really wonderful things, and he did some pretty bad things. You know, he was certainly a person with clay feet. However, here's what he has to say. And it's a song. It's a song written so y'all can figure out the music to this. You have searched me, Lord, and you know me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, you, Lord, know it completely. You hem me in behind and before. You lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there, your hand will guide me. Your right hand will hold me fast. So notice, he's not requesting anything. He's affirming. He's affirming. This is where that divine essence of his understanding is. And also, divine spirit knows all this. You know, this was written, 1,500 years ago by somebody who did all of these things, was so incredibly human, and yet knew this support. We have that support too. So use it. Thank you.
We're going to go ahead and stand and sing another song. It's in your red book if you want to follow along, number 359, 359. And if you're following the book, we're doing it twice. Exactly. In other words, our world could be heaven or hell. All right, the tunes will say. All right, ready? We make our own world wherever we are. Our happiness is of our own making. We make our own world wherever we are. Our happiness then is for the taking. Our world goes with us as we talk and walk along each day. Our world